All right, welcome back to the Dallas International Film Festival. This is Salic Film News, and I'm Carrie Hoover. We are here talking to filmmaker Vish Vallabhaneni. Thanks for coming in today. There is like a storm going on outside, and you're coming from sunny California, yes?
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Okay, so
But I'm from Austin.
Okay, so this ridiculous Texas weather is not completely.
No, this is more at home than sunny LA. So, yeah.
Well, I wish we had had lovely sunny Dallas to show you when you were here, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's so fun.
You know that in 20 minutes it'll probably
It'll clear up and there'll be flowers blooming and it'll be great. Yeah.
probably be in a drought state again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we got to talk a little bit last night about your short film, but for the people who haven't seen that interview yet, can you tell us, no spoilers, just a little bit about our main character, Kayla, and how you developed her story and what they can expect in your film?
Sure. So the story is about a girl who drops out of college to take care of her family in South Dallas. We actually filmed like some of the exteriors in Dallas. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean the story all takes place in like the time scale of a day, where her mom and her mom's roommate are released from a substance abuse clinic.
Right.
And Kayla now has to make a decision in this new sort of like household where the power is shifting like away from her and it's like given to like her mom and this like sort of friend that she doesn't really know.
Yes.
Like if it's a good time to go back to college when she has to take care of like her younger brother.
Her younger brother who's already struggling.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's a bright kid. I think he's really sharp, but he's I mean as with anything, I think your environment has a lot to do with like how you're raised, and the school system that he's in, and like the people that he's getting involved with aren't maybe the best influence for him, and he needs his sister probably around more than ever. So yeah.
I really like how you start the film. I mean, it's a voiceover, but I almost kind of picture the brother as like the young writer beginning his first story because he's sort of keeping an electronic diary, like he's recording himself.
Yeah. It starts off with a voiceover with him talking about like giving a little background about like Kayla and his stepdad.
His stepdad.
And you never see the stepdad. But I really like that. I think it was nice to include that. It sort of feels like fabric, you know, like for like, you know, other people just sort of like feel the environment that we're in right away, even though maybe you never see the stepdad. I liked it. It felt sort of poetic. And one of my favorite movies that this was based on, George Washington, by David Gordon Green. Like he uses a lot of voiceover that's sort of like archaic and poetic, but it adds to the tone of the film. Thank you.
He's coming to visit us next week. Did you
Oh,
know
really?
that? David Gordon Green. Yeah, he's going to stop by.
When next week?
Friday, I think.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you're sharing festival space with David Gordon Green.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, DGG.
Yes. And earlier this week, you shared festival space with Faye Dunaway. So you've like got both ends of the
Was Faye
spectrum.
Dunaway here?
She was here.
Are you serious?
I talked to her. I
Oh my
shook her
God.
hand. I almost
That's ridiculous.
lost it. I'm not even kidding.
That's crazy.
But
Jeez.
yeah, it's been a great festival. So
Yeah.
we're really glad that you're here to be part
That's
of it.
crazy.
Yeah, so we'll take it back to your film now,
Okay.
back to Sunshine and Rain. Now, one of the things that I feel like has come up in at least half of the interviews that we've gotten to sit down for this festival is how many different forms of art, you know, come to meet each other in film. And like we talked a little bit about just pure storytelling and writing, you know, that you the sense of that you get with the younger brother, but also like if people are watching your film, to me it was the music at the very beginning was very jarring versus the sound editing that it moves into when Kayla is, you know, when you first meet her mother and Frankie.
It's a lot more quiet there.
Yes. So tell me about your composer, you know, your
Sure.
editing, how you put all that together.
My composer, he actually is my roommate in LA now. We
Aha.
met like in freshman year of college. He's like one of my best friends. Basically, I thought the introduction, I just sort of wanted to start with a punch. And I thought the music, we sort of combined like I was listening to a lot of Beach Boys, and there was like,
the Beach Boys.
yeah, right. There's like this like sort of production track of the
Mm-hmm.
Beach Boys about one of their songs that I listened to that had like this like really incredible cello
Mm-hmm.
movement, and that's where you get like the bum 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 bum. Like that's from that song, and then Mahler 1, which is like a classical piece.
Mm-hmm.
We introduced it with that, and yeah, we actually we recorded all of it in a studio in Austin, and it was a lot of fun. But I thought that the energy and the tone of it was like great to just throw us into this world, and I think the classical music juxtaposing with like the rough surroundings was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
I just and at the end too, juxtaposing like that high energy song of the twist,
Yeah.
which like with how the characters are feeling at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting at least.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
the visuals lined up with that really well. You know, the opening sequence is almost a dream, you know, where she's kind of she's on a jog.
Yeah.
That's not spoiling anything. She's out jogging. But the different like foliage that she comes on and the sky and everything, I was like, oh wow, this is so gorgeous. And then it changes back into a very naturalistic, very minimalistic look. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little more about that as well?
Sure. Yeah, I started off with like sort of like a surreal thing like where she's jogging and then she comes across like can I say it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Where she's jogging and then she comes across like cotton plants, basically, and I mean obviously when we think of cotton and like African Americans we think of slavery.
Certainly.
So and when you see the film, it wraps up by sort of relating that to like how her mother is holding her back, or like how the past is holding people back in general, and her frustration with that. And I wanted like some sort of like surreal way to visualize that without like just throwing that at an audience. So and yeah, I thought the cotton provided like a nice like introduction and like button for the film as well.
Yeah.
So
It was also a cool color contrast because you see early on in the film, Kayla's in this striking, like, completely white dress
yeah,
that I thought was really lovely, you know, comparing to, you know, her mom's roommate that she's just met, and makes her almost otherworldly.
you mean at the end where
Yeah,
she
like, and quite literally otherworldly, you know, she's working with two different environments here that she has to make
Manage.
decisions about.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, we, me and Jontel, the actress, like went to costume stores and like checked out. But at the end of the day, I think that white dress is something out of her wardrobe that we pulled. And originally the name itself too, like I don't know, I like to give a lot of freedom to the actors about
Sure.
like even like naming themselves. The name wasn't Kayla before.
Really?
Yeah, it was a name that like the film that my friend. It was my friend's name that the film was based on, and I let Jontel pick it because at the end of the day, it can be inspired by something, but it's your character, and I just wanted to make it personal to her and her story as
Sure.
much as possible. So she picked the name Kayla, like I think like a week out of shooting, and then I changed it in the script, told all the other actors call her Kayla now.
This is Kayla.
Yeah, so yeah.
I like that. So do you typically do that with your actors? We've had several actors come in who are theater trained actors. And, you know, in theater, when you've got, you know, playwrights are very different from screenwriters. When you have the script of a play in front of you, the script is the script, period.
Yeah.
You don't mess with it.
Right.
Whereas a screenwriter, you've really got to I mean, you're a director as well, but you really have to
You have to pass
let
a lot
your
of
work
responsibility,
go.
but yeah. I think that's interesting to put it that way because I think playwriting is a lot more like there's a lot more like musicality in the language sometimes.
Certainly.
I mean, unless it's like an Aaron Sorkin movie where it's like like The Social Network, each beat is like
Yeah, bum,
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 bum.
bum. Yeah, it's like music. But this, I mean, for this project at least, like it felt very like I needed the actors to be in that world and embrace it fully. So like I just wanted to do anything I could to like just make them feel comfortable in it. So I mean like giving away responsibility. Like I was happy to do that. If
Yeah.
they want to take it, like take it, because like you're entering this world and you need to feel comfortable in it. And it is hard. I mean, like I would describe like any filmmaking. I mean, I'm still early on, but like right now, I would describe it as like just rewriting over and over again.
Sure.
Like when you rewrite the script and then you show it to the actors and they rewrite it again, and then when you're editing, that's another rewrite.
Yeah, you rewrite and editing.
So,
sure.
You just have to sort of embrace the changes every way of the process, and it's like you have to fall in love with the process. I feel like more than like the end result.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be a totally random question,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a random thought in my mind that I've tried to kind of piece together for years. I'm not a film programmer.
Okay.
So I watch shorts blocks, which Sunshine and Rain is in one of the shorts blocks. I think we have 5 blocks here this year.
Okay.
And, you know, every block is curated.
Right.
You know, they're not just randomly thrown in there. If you've never been to a film festival, it's not alphabetized.
Yeah, if
or
it was
anything
random,
like
that would be such an emotional trip.
Yes,
I think
I can definitely think of some bad combos that ought not
Yeah.
be next to each other in the blocks. But it's kind of like an art gallery.
Sort of,
You
yeah.
know,
It's like
that you
keep walking around. and
Yeah, you
peruse
pick
and-
pick what pieces you want in the space. So when have you gotten to see your entire shorts block?
I have. That's really strong. Really great, actually. Yeah,
Did
it
you
was
see
really-
any like overarching themes, or it's kind of like what ties this group together? You know, they don't have to look the same or sound the same or have
Right.
similar stories. But is there anything that you saw bringing them together besides, you know, less than 25 minutes?
That's a good question. All of them are really different. I met a filmmaker yesterday when we showed. His name's Sai, and his film was about his character having a speech impediment, and like how that affected like his character's like the crush that he had. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they did seem to involve with like social issues,
Sure.
and like the last one was really great. It was about like civil rights in a way. So I think it did seem to be like almost like social activist filmmaking in a way, and it's sort of about like some higher power, not like God. I mean like social activism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Politics
And stuff like that.
societal change.
Yeah.
It's interesting how many of the films this year, I mean, good film is good film, but it's
Yeah.
funny how many of them we seem to be able to trace back to, they've all got this one overarching theme of societal change, because that's
Yeah.
not the theme of the festival this year, you know.
No.
1967 is what that's our big celebratory thing. So
Okay.
I don't know if you were here for the opening gala, but Bonnie and Clyde was our opening film,
Right.
and yesterday we screened.
Is that where Faye Dunaway was?
That's where she
was
came
there?
in. Yes, for
Okay,
Bonnie and Clyde.
very cool.
And then yesterday, Catherine Houghton came in for Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Okay.
And we're screening Camelot, and I think we're screening In the Heat of the Night, you know, which logically the thing that ties them all together is, it's 1967. They're all turning 50. But so many of them, I mean, obviously Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, but also Bonnie and Clyde, I mean, so much of it is back to like the changing vision of society.
Yeah.
And it seems like so many of the features and so many of the shorts this year all connect back to that theme of like the US is in a time of huge change.
Totally. Yeah, and I don't think it's possible to look away from it, and I don't think we should look away from what's going on like across the world. I guess like the wave of nationalism that's like hitting every
Absolutely.
country. And I think it's important to address it, and I'm happy that there's more like films that are coming out, young filmmakers that are making like at least trying to put these issues like in front of a camera, and like have people look at it with like an unfiltered light. I think that's very important. I think that's brave. I think, yeah, as much as I love Stand By Me, I don't know how many more Stand By Me's we need. You know?
No, I understand. And
yeah.
if you look back at, I mean, you went to film school, so I'm sure, there goes my mic. I'm sure you've studied a lot of film history, and, you know, as did we, and you studied like before times in history of like, you know, World War or huge upheaval. Frequently there's a very dynamic art movement that precedes it.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked a lot about in our film school how important it was that artists maintain their voice. You know, in the US we talk a lot about freedom of the press, but that's also artistic freedom, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I think I'm just trying to think in my library. Like I know like Italian neorealist films like after World War II.
Absolutely.
Like that was like pretty huge. Like Rome, Year One. Like that was one.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I think it's all very important to address that and like show the surroundings of like how like a shifting political environment can affect like art in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole Donald Trump thing, like there's gonna be some interesting stuff that comes out of it as far as like, film and art goes. Yeah, I don't know if that's like a huge plus, but like I mean it's cool. I'm down with it, but like I would rather just like have like a stable political environment.
I'm with you there, but you're also right about like all art is valuable, and the context in which it's produced says so much about the message.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there,
Oh,
but I
so
appreciate
cool.
you rolling with me.
Yeah, just talk
and
about it.
Thank you again for coming in. And Sunshine and Rain, go check it out in our part of our amazing shorts program. And Vish, thanks for coming in. Hope to see you back again.
Yeah, of course.